In the last decade, workplaces have changed almost beyond recognition. No more rows and rows of desks. Distributed workforces are commonplace, with colleagues and clients located across the UK and the globe. The working world is evolving, and so is how we actually get work done. Work is no longer a place we go to. It's about our individual roles and the type of work that role demands. And striking the right work-life balance is key for many employers. This is where digital agility comes in. In the second of our series of etiCloud products and service insights, I'm here with Jonathan Ashley, founder and director, and Mike Hague, Customer Excellence Director, to explore digital agility and how etiCloud are delivering it for a variety of different clients. So first off, start with you, Jonathan, if we can. Can you tell me a little bit more about what exactly digital agility is, please?
Hi, Kirsten, certainly. Really, for me, it comes down to three things, really. Basically, the ability to work anywhere, anytime, thus increasing productivity. We're obviously seeing that right now, and we're seeing that firsthand, the requirement for that. The second, really, that goes hand in hand with it, and there was a number of reports and things that came out when a lot of people started to do a lot more home working, but it's been around for a very long time, and that is really it's about enhancing security while you're delivering that agility to firms, and it's really about protecting the individual user wherever they're working, but also aligning with the corporate governance and policies that they have in place surrounding security, and making sure it's tight enough and it's able to be actioned, but yet not too complex that the users are constantly struggling to actually access the information they need to. So it's about getting that balance right as well. And then really, I suppose the third thing that sort of pins the digital agility side of things is it's really about it being cost effective. It's that ability to pay now for what you need, not necessarily having to plan sort of 3 to 5 years in advance, but also giving you the ability that as you grow or reduce in size, depending on the business requirements, that you can ebb and flow, and that the particular environment that you're working in, the product structure in terms of the IT needs of the firm, really ebb and flow, and it really allows that sort of elastic approach to IT delivery. Really, so it's just there. It allows the businesses to go on and actually communicate with their customers and worry about the real makings of their business and driving that business forward, as opposed to looking over the shoulder and worrying about how the IT is being delivered at any one time and any increased capital investment and that sort of thing. So it's really those three things. So the ability to work anywhere, anytime, making sure we've got the security right, and really that cost effectiveness and paying for what you need now, versus also having the ability to have the solution future-proof down the road for yourselves.
Okay. So bearing that in mind, Jonathan, how are etiCloud delivering digital agility? How do you go about creating digital agility?
Gosh, well, I suppose we've been in business now for about 4.5 years. So we've really helped, we're getting into this 150, 170 customers that we've helped to realize that now. And this was evident when, obviously, this pandemic that's hit has really tested the ethos that we've been pushing out to our customers for the last number of years, and really that, from a demonstration perspective, that really showed that while they weren't all necessarily using it day to day in their business, the business continuity elements of the solution are always there in the background, living and breathing. So it might have only worked for a few people. So those road warriors might be out there working from home, going to meetings off site, accessing the desktops on a regular basis, whereas there might have been a lot of staff that wouldn't have experienced that. They would have basically used the product almost on a 9-to-5 type basis on their normal computers at work, and not really felt the true benefit of how that solution worked. But really, all of that's sort of wrapped into it. And it's really about receiving higher levels of availability,
Okay.
Not just from the sort of the 9-to-5 time frame, making sure it's reliable and it's always available to them when they need it. And again, really helping them to go through an exercise of cost containment. One of the biggest challenges I think firms see is that if you look over sort of a 5-year sort of snapshot and try and determine what the budget is for anyone, any of the specific IT costs, there's always that uncertainty of what you're going to need when. And what this helps to do is really help them realize their return on investment, and basically flattens that whole process. So there's a nice steady, if they're growing, it's a nice steady increase. If they're staying with a stable platform in terms of number of users on the platform, it's that constantness that a lot of the FDs out there are looking for. So there's no surprises, and they can budget against it.
Sounds good. Nobody likes surprises.
No, and I suppose the other question you asked was, how do we deliver digital agility? And I guess really it's about engaging in a really good pre-project plan, and that's really about looking at things like reducing risk of a project, reducing the complexity of the project, at least as far as our customers are concerned, and we sort of take on that complexity, and really sort of try and ease the tension and make sure that we're doing the heavy lifting with any of the data migrations and the complexities and things, and the customer's not necessarily feeling that. And then ultimately it's down to making sure the lines of communication are open. What we try and do is we try and set up regular intervals where we're having communication. It's not just about having phone calls in those and video conferences like we're doing now. It's about ensuring that we're advising and we're making sure that if there is any risk to various dates on the time flow, that we're explaining that and letting people understand where things have come about. We're also, it's not just a one-way street. We're also putting expectations of the customers to help us as well, help them. So it really is about getting that dialogue right, and that's really how we engage in it. And what happens is we get to a point where we are able to go live as a platform, and effectively that puts them into this sort of new world of digital agility, and that we can experience some of the benefits we've previously talked about.
Excellent, great stuff. I think now we've got to look at, and in fact, perhaps turn to you, Mike, for this one, what the specific benefits to businesses are. If there's a business out there at the minute that's thinking, hang on a second, everything that Jonathan's just been talking about, we don't really have that. What are the benefits to me to create a digitally agile business?
Actually, it's quite relevant that you mention that, Kirsten, because we've recently conducted a number of near live customer interviews that we're going to be publishing online quite shortly. What's really interesting about it is that digital agility means different things to different organizations. So some of those have highlighted the fact that one of those clients that we talked to, for instance, one of their key drivers was talent acquisition, because they've got an office that's not in the best of locations near a city centre. That wouldn't have been that attractive for people to come into had it just been based on the office. But digital agility to them means that they can attract talent from any part of the country, from any major city, because their ability to work from home is a key thing for them, because it's just like working in the office. And we have another one, for instance, where they've got a fairly significant element of female workforce that have childcare issues. So it enables them to be able to work effectively from home, just as it has been. And I've had a conversation this afternoon with the local Chamber of Commerce, for instance, where we were talking about commercial space and how that might change as an impact of COVID-19. And those workspaces actually, as Jonathan said, it's basically making that environment that starts at the office, in that built environment, be transferable to wherever the end user might have to be, whether that be at home under these kind of circumstances, or whether it be one of the guys out on the road that needs access to the same kind of information every day, regardless of whether or not he can get back to the office. So I think it means different things to different people. And it's really about that flexibility and that ability to be productive no matter where you are. I think this particular situation, the current pandemic, has really just been the pinnacle, I suppose, of the worst case scenario of why digital agility is really quite important. But I think more and more people now going forward will realise that they need that ability because they now realise that even the worst case scenario can happen, and it might. So that's kind of my take on it.
Fully agree with you there, Mike. I think it is going to change the way we work as a country, really, and globally. And what is interesting is that even our financial director, Simon, has always been one to make sure that everyone's in the office, and very much about an office-based community, and that's the way he's always run the businesses that he's been involved with. But we're now talking as a business about how can we benefit from people being more flexible in their working environment, and we've seen internally that from a productivity perspective, it's been great. In most cases, I suppose we should be good at it. We sell these types of things, but I've been very pleased with the regular communication we've been having as a team internally, and what it's meant is that people have adapted to the way that they're working. It's been very positive. It's been very very interesting to see various different people who might be different experiences they've had. We've got some staff that have just recently come out of university, very apt to working in that environment. We also have other people that might be slightly older, like ourselves, Mike, that maybe not necessarily comfortable with this, want to jump in a car and go to the office every single day. And I've been amazed at how much time I've saved not being in my car and being able to to devote that to my day-to-day work and the increased productivity as a result of it. So I think great to have the customer experience like you mentioned, but even for ourselves, we're seeing that we're actually taking our own advice, I suppose, and putting it to work.
Fantastic. That's really interesting, guys. I think great explanation of what digital agility is, and if there are any businesses out there that aren't digitally agile, they should get in touch, because it certainly is the future, and loads and loads of benefits to it and advantages as you've just outlined. So look forward to see you soon about how we actually physically create a digital workplace and the different products that you use, and I think that's going to be the next in our series. So look forward to speaking to you both about that.
Look forward to it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Take care.